Welcome back to the Marathon of Air Buddies.
Goblins and green is a thing.
They're coming up,
My oh my, it's a stream. Come from the graveyard is a sickening sight.
So let's see, we've seen the buddies be part of an Alaskan sleigh team, go into outer space, and were responsible for saving Christmas. So naturally, since these puppies were still marketable, it only made sense to do another holiday movie, even though it would take place the year after the Christmas movie. So at this point, I'm just going to assume Fernfield is actually like Springfield, except only the humans age and not the animals. Only bit of trivia I'll note on is that instead of this being released in like 2010, it was actually released in 2011, versus Santa Buddies being released in 2009. Guess they needed a break from the Air Buddies so they can put one out for Santa Paws. But let's not waste time. We begin in the year 1937, where Fernfield had corresponding vehicles and clothing, but their buildings were still pretty modern. Apparently, the sheriff of this town is organizing a mob to go after someone truly evil. Someone so diabolical that they have to be stopped. Warwick, the Warlock! And whatever kind of evil thing he's doing, this must be why the town was after him.
No good, Warwick. He must have the puppies.
Oh no! He kidnapped puppies! Let's lynch him! Not sure how they know what he's done or if they really know what he's doing in regards to the Halloween hound. Speaking of the hound though, let's meet this creature that requires a dramatic summoning sequence.
Outside! Halloween hound! Who dares summon me?
Holy crap, it's Batman Brave and the Bold! So I guess this guy wants to rule over Fernfield? Which is probably realistic, since I doubt this one hound has enough power to overtake humanity. And I guess none of the puppies heard his great master plan and just go right up to the hound wanting to meet him. Even better, after this next scene where this kid, named Joseph, keeps calling for his dog, named Pip, we see that all the others have turned into stone except him. And better yet,
I changed my mind. I don't want to go with the Halloween hound.
it wasn't the fact that all four of his siblings were stoned, but rather the sound of his owner that gets him to change his mind. Come to think of it, why were they here to meet the Halloween hound to begin with? Since Warwick could talk to animals, he must have told them something good about him, and yet at no point did any of the puppies think, as they get stoned, one by one at that this was a bad idea? Or did they all form some kind of suicide pact and only one of them chickened out? Anyway, Pip tries to escape and Warwick flies after him on his staff. Look, just because I mentioned Black Clover once doesn't mean you have to keep doing things that make me mention it. And I guess the town does know he has magic, since they don't seem too surprised by him being able to turn people into toads, though he stupidly breaks his only means of deterrence. He succeeds in stoning the last puppy, but it's too late to absorb him since Joseph interferes at the last second and the sun is starting to rise, meaning they had to have wasted hours during this entire ritual, or he thought doing it before sunrise would be a great idea.
It's over, Warwick. You're under arrest. Enough of your black magic.
I'll take this town under my control one day. Mark my words.
I'll be back!
Well, good thing the portal was still open, but how will he get out now? And I'm not sure, but I don't think the sheriff is really into this movie.
What in tarnation just happened?
Look what they did to Pip.
This is a statue.
You just witnessed a man turn two people into toads, yet you don't seem to believe that the same man, who by the way just jumped through a magic mirror that you also witnessed, could turn your dog into a statue?
Joseph, I'm right here.
What the hell is that? Some kind of Casper knockoff? Is that what happens to dogs when their souls get torn out? They turn into dog ghosts? And I guess no one can really see them as the sheriff has the place condemned. 75 years later, it's still a historical site it seems. And oh hey, the buddies. This time, Buddha is voiced by Charles Wyson, while Butterball has Nico Gisi, and Rosebud has Genevieve Hanalius. Definitely butchered that one. For the rest of the series, this movie marks the first time that both buddies and their owners get to do things that affect the plot of this movie. But for now, as the humans leave, that owl, who I guess is immortal, spies on the buddies.
B-Dog is afraid of nothing, especially no ghost.
Then why are you afraid to go trick-or-treating tonight?
I'll prove it. I'll go in there right now, call out that Halloween hound, and kick his tail, yo.
Well, what do you know? This time it's B-Dog's fault that the plot happens. I was expecting Butterball again. So as all of them start to enter deeper into the house, the kids come across the gravesite of the old sheriff, Pip and his statue, and this creepy old guy.
Ah!
What?
Don't let this kid play Zelda 64 then. He'll probably be scared to death by this guy. Also, that's Butterball's voice actor, Skylar Gisondo, playing both his dog and his owner. And now, the moment of dumb. B-Dog summoning the Halloween Hound by doing the mirror trick.
Halloween hound? Halloween hound? Stop! Please, don't say it! It's a ghost! Let's get out of here, dudes! Come on, B-Dog, run!
Don't say it again. You'll release them.
Ah! You're the Halloween hound! Oh no! You said it 3 times!
And whose fault is that? You should have done something after the first time he said something. And even then, it's not like there's a full moon out right this second. I don't think it worked. Right? Even though I said the kids get more involved in this movie, there's still the matter of Billy's subplot that takes priority, making him the star kid. And since he forgot to do his Fernfield history project, he decides he'll do it on the Halloween Hound and goes to see Sheriff Dan since his department was involved in the case.
Careful, kids, there's a stair here that...
Ah!
Oh, yep, that's the one. Perfectly organized.
Clearly, the only reason this guy was made sheriff was because the last one died and he's the only policeman left in this town. I guess he's cool with letting them take a cold case file for research, as well as that plastic prop that looks an awful lot like... Wait, that is the staff that Warwick was using. Damn, these movies are getting even cheaper by the minute. He has to promise to bring it back still, because this guy is too trusting of a bunch of middle schoolers. Also, I think Billy and B-Dog moved in between movies, since I don't see their basketball hoop anymore. That's another thing I noticed. It seems the buddies have become less associated with sports and more about their individual personalities and random adventures into the supernatural. I wouldn't mind them doing the adventures if they bothered keeping sports involved and getting creative with that. Otherwise, they just become like any other talking dog movie that doesn't really have a unique identity. Anyway, Billy and B-Dog are disappointed to find their mom bought them bunny costumes instead of rapper clothes. Oh, cheer up. Make some modifications and you can be as hip-hop as Eevee. But since he has the magic staff, he decides to dress up as Max Magician.
I present to you Warwick the Warlock at your service.
Oh, I guess pretending to be the villain is cool too. Even though he was a dirty puppy napper. Billy learns that the owner of one of the stolen puppies lives somewhere in Fernfield and thinks about visiting him for his project. But never mind that, we gotta see 2 of the obnoxious kids trying to break in and see about getting something to scare people with. And even now, Pip does nothing to scare them away. Or do only dogs see him?
With the Halloween hound, I will control the wolf. Why is that thing like glowing?
Yeah, intriguing.
I don't know. Maybe it has batteries or something.
Well, since this is a prop, yes. Meanwhile, the brats find Yzma's stolen animal potions when they notice the magic mirror portal opening up. Oh no, it's Fred the Rocket Man! Quick, hide your space food! Oh, and I guess the Halloween Hound can just come out on his own? Wait, why did he need to sacrifice puppies again when the dog can just come out on its own? Anyway, he thinks they stole his book and staff and has them turn into rats. Because that will help find your stolen goods quicker. Idiot.
They won't be able to warn the rest of the town. We must finish the spell.
I can smell the blood of the 5 puppies we need. They have been in this room.
Well, you are an English Mastiff, I suppose. Anyway, the only thing to come of the rat boys is this one cat they spotted getting revenge on them. That's really it for now. With Warwick freed, it's time to go looking for his loot. He sends his owl, Hoot, to go look for the staff while he looks for his book. And since they can leave, Pip can now leave the manor as well. I find it amusing that Warwick is a warlock, yet is afraid of children in monster costumes. Anyway, the two split up, also the Hound can find the bunnies, while the kids run into Pat Finn from The Bachelor.
Excuse me? My name is Pip. I was wondering if you've seen 5 golden retriever puppies. That tickles.
Okay, so humans can see him too. In that case, you should have warned those 2 brat kids earlier, or made better effort to contact your human when this first happened. Of course, he takes the costume, thinking he could get by better with it, despite having no feet, and despite the fact that no one was bothered with him existing earlier.
Oh, thank goodness I found you guys. Yo, if you're looking for a potograph, I ain't in the mood. I'm here to warn you about the Halloween Hound.
How did you know about that?
And why are you able to speak our language, human?
Ah! It's the Halloween Hound! I told you dogs he'd come after us! No, I'm not!
Well, that worked out so well.
What do we do?
I know a place. If there's anyone who can help us with a paranormal problem, it's Zelda.
I hate to tell you this, but Zelda is currently away fighting Calamity Ganon, until Link wakes up from his slumber, of course. After reaching this one house, and Bartleby, for no reason, stating the name and address of this house, Billy realizes it's the one from the police file that he's carrying around for some reason, and decides he wants to go check it out. And of course, Joseph, the little boy from the start of the movie, is actually the old guy from the graveyard.
What do you want?
Well, you see, I'm doing this school project on the curse of the Halloween Hound.
I'm sure if that boy wanted to talk about it, he would have a long time ago.
Hey, boy! Where'd you get that staff? Hand it over. That's very dangerous.
Oh no, that old guy is warning us about a potentially dangerous object. Let's run away from him.
Must find out who's responsible for this infestation. No one beats Warwick the Warlock at his own game. What is this? Perhaps the evil sorcerer lives there.
Okay, if there's any credit to this movie, I do like some of the lines Warwick has. It shows how out of touch he is, but the idea that he thinks others want to take over this town is rather humorous to me. He even runs into Pat Finn and ends up impressing him inadvertently just to get a candy bar. He's clearly not amused, and Surferstein is like, "Later, bro." Just so good. So now he knows where the staff is, but thinks Billy is the town's new warlock. What else do you think will happen?
I will make all of you ghouls my slaves. Give me that staff!
Here, take it. You're cool.
Haha, he got blasted by a kid. What a loser. I guess keeping the case file on him was worth it, since they now know he's the real deal and try to get away. Warwick decides to recruit Surferstein with a mind control potion and orders him to find Billy.
I probably should have used someone smarter for this job.
No crap! The buddies end up at a magic shop where this supposed Zelda lives, who says she can help communicate with the spirits since they're being chased by one. Not that it goes anywhere because Pip shows up and it scares the life out of her. At least he's finally getting the chance to talk to them.
My name is Pip.
You're the pup from the story.
Yes, I've been like this ever since that night. The hound stole my brothers and sisters' souls.
The spell must have been interrupted that night. Your soul was left in limbo.
I'm sorry I scared you guys at the manor. I was trying to stop you from releasing the hound.
Yeah, and we're sorry too, Pip.
You should be sorry. Haven't you learned by now not to overreact? Didn't meeting Shasta teach you anything? So they have to figure out a way to stop Warwick, and they have to return Pip to his original body before sunrise, or else he'll be stuck like this forever. Kind of good then it took 75 years to decide this, but guess who drops in?
Hello, puppies.
Oh no! It's the Halloween hound!
Come out, and I'll have your souls for dinner. Oh no, I'm stuck.
The back door, quickly!
You are not a very good Halloween hound if you can't magic your way through that door. The kids get attacked by Surferstein and have to avoid him at the Halloween party. Everyone's dancing to the Monster Mash, but in their hearts, they're really dancing to this.
I have put a spell on you, and now you're gone. My whammy fell on you, and it was strong.
I'm sorry, but these little moments I just find funny. Which is saying something since the bunnies aren't doing it for me right now. It took Warwick this long to finally realize, wait a minute, no one in this town's a monster. It's still funny, I will at least admit, he's been a rather fun aspect to the movie. The buddies find Sniffer and convince him that Pip is a real ghost and ask for his help in affairs. Sniffer confronts the Halloween hound and we see how he stones his victims. He bad breaths them the same way a Marlboro does. For some reason, the kids are still here when they could have fled any time, but I guess they needed to ask Sheriff Dan for his help too. He's useless though, as Warwick steals the staff and turns him into a monkey. Maybe they'll use him for the next movie.
You're under arrest for insulting an officer of the law.
Okay, now that's funny, that he still tries to attack Warwick even as a monkey. He black clovers out of here as the kids regroup.
Did you get the staff to Sheriff Dan?
Sort of.
You were there. You saw Warwick take the staff and Billy running away. What do you think happened?
Great continuity.
Where is that book? Or do you all want to be turned into monkeys too?
What, you don't want to star in Monkey Up later? They get saved by Joseph, who leads them into a rather large car, while the buddies arrive at the graveyard to try and find Pip's body. Zelda uses whatever kind of incantation she knows to return Pip's soul to his stony body. Okay, now what about your plan to stop Warwick?
I want that book!
Oh, of course! Evil cannot penetrate these holy grounds, so they can just wait till morning to miss his deadline. No, I'm sure they'll have to think of something, because the Halloween hound shows up at the graveyard and ends up stoning Zelda.
Now, I have a different plan for you pups.
We're doomed!
You could just keep running away. He doesn't appear to run or have any other magic powers. Why do you give up so easily? Whatever, Joseph had the book and was deciphering it so he could stop Warwick, in case he ever came back, even though who up until this point would know anything about the Halloween hound? Alright, a dumb 3 and up year old puppy would. And then maybe Hoot, who at no point would bother doing anything himself. They learn that Warwick plans to use the ghosts of the Netherworld to control the town, and he needs his staff, his book, and the 5 puppy siblings to do it. And since they didn't even attempt to flee, he tells the hound to meet him at the manor while he
Open wide like the jaws of a dragon!
If you want to see your puppies again, you better bring that book to my manor!
Oh, so lightning won't affect the church, but a simple unlock spell will. At least he had the right idea to lock up the sacrifices this time, should they try to get away. Not like last time. Oh, and the 2 rat brats decide they want to contribute to the plot by attacking Warwick and getting him to chase them. Pip shows up, somehow getting past Warwick and the hound, and has to convince Hoot to let them go.
I know you never meant to hurt us, Hoot. And even though you've been under Warwick's control for a long time, you still have a chance at a happy life in this beautiful world. But if Warwick wins, we'll all be doomed. Haven't the last 75 years without evil been a lot nicer than your time under Warwick's wing?
It was kind of nice not having to look over my shoulder all the time.
Oh, good. They're redeeming a character who did nothing. Nothing but locate people, but had no real character to speak of. He gets stoned, of course. Though that's one plastic statue if I ever seen one. And the hound traps the puppies yet again.
Let them go, Hound. All you need is me.
What is this?
It's me, Pip. You stole all my brothers and sisters' souls. Now all you need is me to complete the spell. Then you'll have 5 souls of the same blood.
You know, that's a good point. Why do they need 5 more puppies when they could just devour the last of the original 5? Pip gets stoned again. And even though he doesn't do anything special at first, he goes to the mirror, releases the spirits from the Netherworld, who then begin to cause havoc throughout the entire town, even possessing people to become zombies. Joseph and the kids show up to do something, but they end up losing the book to Warwick. Joseph begs the kids to stop him before he completes the spell to keep the spirits here forever. But when he goes to read the book...
Our Father, who art... Wait a minute. This is not my spell book!
It's the Bible.
So you replaced the hardcover of the Bible to make it look like his spell book? How did you do that exactly? Old man who works at a graveyard? Billy got the staff back anyway, and he uses it to fight Warwick while the bunnies are still trying to hide from the Halloween hound, even though he got what he wanted, so there should be no more reason to chase them. But there he is, and after going this long without doing a fart joke...
No, this can't be happening.
That's disgusting.
Billy chants the spell from the book to call the spirits back to the Netherworld, but Warwick wants to at least take one of them with him, so Joseph grapples him for a brief struggle before pushing him back into the mirror world forever. And to make sure he doesn't do anything again, they break his staff, which in turn breaks the mirror. Everyone who got stoned or cursed gets returned to normal. Everyone who was zombified is here, and isn't quite sure what to make of things. But that's okay, everyone is happy, and the rat brats are in the nude. Now it's time for everyone to say goodbye to Joseph and Pip, since they're no longer bound to this town and can see the world together.
I tracked down Pip's brothers and sisters' owners. They live all across America now, so we're going to visit. Figure it's about time that Pip and I do some living. See the country. I haven't felt this spry in years. We better hit the road. Bye, kids.
Bye, Mr. Johnson!
Well, I hesitate to say that this was a good movie. Not like any of these are. But this one was at least a little more fun than Santa Buddies. Well, mostly because of the main villain, who was actually pretty fun given some of the lines he had. I also liked how he handled Surfer Stein, and honestly, I wish there was more material like it, since otherwise this film is plagued with so many problems. For one, it continues the trend of having characters who could do something but don't, the lack of understanding for plot trends like Pip never bothering to talk to anyone before the bad stuff happens, some cheesy effects that aren't as bad or numerous as in the previous movie, and of course, a major inconsistency in the writing, especially for one scene in particular. But if anything, it was nice for them to try and get the kids more involved, since they were stressing once before how the buddies were needed by them to improve their lives, though I wish they could do more with the buddies so that it doesn't always appear like they stand around talking. Otherwise, I will give this movie props for doing more with its holiday theme than the former did. Not a good movie by any means, but serviceable in the way of kids' films. With that, there's only 2 more films left. Maybe they'll keep improving for the next movie? Only time will tell when we dig up Treasure Buddies.
And goblins and green